All right, hi guys. We are still doing 10-3 today in math, but we're gonna continue this lesson since it was kind of long. So today in your math journal, we're gonna do 236 and 237. They go together, they're the same thing. Same as yesterday, if you have a calculator or somebody's phone that you can use that has a calculator, that will be helpful. So on the page, it says that we're going to play a game called Pick a Coin. And if you have somebody to play with, awesome. Just kind of makes it more fun. If not, you can always do it by yourself and it's not that big of a deal. So it also wants you to have a dice. Now, if you don't have a dice, it's not a big deal. You can either pick numbers 1 through 6. If you have like a game where you flick something and it spins around, you could use that. You just need to be able to have numbers, so don't worry if you don't have a dice. Also, it might be helpful if you have a piece of paper and pencil or a whiteboard like I have, then you can jot some things down so you don't forget, but again, if not a big deal. So what we're going to do is when it's your turn, you're going to roll the dice 5 times, and every time you roll the dice, you're going to write down the numbers in the columns. So I kind of just did the first column. So you have pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and a $1 bill. So I'm just going to kind of show you an example so then when you play, you know what to do. So I'm going to roll my imaginary dice and I just landed on a 3. So under my P, I would put a 3. Then I roll the dice again. Oh, 5. So I put 5 under my nickel. Roll it again. Oh, I only get a 1 for a dime. Roll it again. Let's do 4 for quarters. And then we'll do 6 for $1 bill. Now, it says then that you're going to use your calculator to add up your amounts, but we're not adding these numbers because if I rolled 3 pennies, that's not just 3. If I rolled 5 nickels, that doesn't equal 5 cents. So this is where I said you might want to use a paper and pencil or a whiteboard or something, or if you have your calculator right there, you can do that with you. I like to write mine down first just so I don't get confused when I'm typing it on my calculator. So for 3 pennies, that would equal 3 cents. So I'm going to write it down like I would type it into my calculator. So for 3 cents, I would type in decimal point 03. Because remember, it has to have 2 numbers after the decimal. And if I put the 3 first, that would be 30 cents. All right, 5 nickels would be how much? 25 cents. So I would type in decimal point 25. Plus a dime, 1 dime, I only had 10 cents, so decimal point 10. And you guys don't have to be writing this, I'm just showing you an example. 4 quarters would be $1, so 1 decimal 00. And then 6 $1 bills, so 6 decimal 00. So what I did is I just wrote it down exactly like I'm going to type it into my calculator. So when I type it in, I just know exactly what I'm typing and I don't have to think and type at the same time. So on my calculator then, I'm going to add all my stuff together so I don't have to do this in my head or paper and pencil. So I'm going to type in decimal point 03 plus decimal point 25 plus decimal point 10 plus 1 decimal 00 plus 6 decimal 00 equals, and I get $7.38. Now, if I was using my workbook page, I would write this in all of the columns. Now, it says first turn, second turn, third turn, fourth turn, and then the next page is the same exact thing. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do this 16 times. You can either play with somebody, but I at least want you by yourself to do it 4 times. So if you don't have anybody to play with, I want you to do what I just did at least 4 times for practice. If you're playing with somebody, you can each do it and then see who gets the most amount. There's no way that you can try to be good at this game. It's just all luck, kind of like when we play Addition Top It, but it just helps you work on adding your money together and typing things in on the calculator correctly. So there's a ton of boxes to fill in. I want you to do at least 4. If you're playing with somebody else, great, you might fill in more boxes, but if you're by yourself, do this at least 4 times. And again, you can just make up your numbers like I did, okay? Just don't do all 4 with the same exact ones. Do different ones, okay? So just make sure your decimal point's in the right spot. Also, when you're doing your calculator, it's not a race. Lots of calculators work a little slow, so if you're typing it in as fast as you can, numbers don't show up and then your answer ends up being wrong. So even if you can type really fast, you want to go nice and slow and make sure it's showing up on your screen. That way you know you're going to get the correct answer and you're not skipping over numbers or decimal points, because those are going to make a big difference in what answer you get, okay? So that is all you're doing today. So just working on adding money, putting decimals in the right spot, typing them into your calculator, okay, all of that. And then tomorrow we'll do our last 2 pages. I'm not going to have a video for that because that is just going to review area and math boxes, and you guys can do that on your own. So this should be the last video that you need for this week, okay? So have fun. This is kind of a fun game, especially if you have somebody to play with. You can see how lucky you are and if you get a bigger total than who you're playing with. So have fun.